Yeah. Okay. I think that we can start. Yeah.
Yes.
So great. Yeah. We're not Steve Kaufman's, but today we're going to talk about languages. Yeah. But today we're going to talk about languages. Yeah. Great. So today, we are going to discuss about language learning, to have great, wonderful
Yes.
conversation with AJ from Chicago.
Yes.
I have like Polyglot from USA, like
Almost.
yeah, like just yet unknown Polyglot. But I think that in the future, I think that a lot of people will know you, and you're going to open your like channel, develop that, and I think
Yeah.
So can you introduce
maybe in
yourself?
5 more years?
Yeah, 5 more years, I think. Yeah, like more realistically, yeah.
Yeah.
But in
so
one
I'm
day.
AJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
So I'm AJ. I'm from Chicago. I actually wrote a book called Bilingual Secrets: Secrets to Becoming Bilingual. You can find it on Amazon. And I actually have shirts, Bilingual Secrets. You can find that at ajtutor.com. So basically, in the book, I talk about my story on how I learned Spanish and Portuguese to a high level. And like Algajan said, I'm looking to become a polyglot. I'm learning French, Polish, and Russian right now. Then in a few years, I'll learn Kazakh. So my total will be 7 languages within maybe 6 or 7 years.
Oh, wonderful.
So that's a little bit about myself.
Yeah, great. So I think that you're already like a polyglot because you speak 3 languages, like 3 languages.
Yeah.
So that's why I think you're already a polyglot, because a lot of people think, like from the language community, that the polyglot is the one person who speaks like several languages, like many languages, and many it is more than one.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah. And but in one video, what I made in Spanish about like bilinguals and bilinguals and trilinguals, I said
I saw that.
I said that I think that like for me, I consider the person is the polyglot even if he knows only 2 languages. The main thing is that he loves language learning process.
Yeah.
For example, Met versus Japan, like he speaks only like Japanese, or like Xiaomi, like he speaks only Chinese, and there are a lot of like cool guys out there who have learned only like one foreign language, but they love this. For example, Lamont, from the days of like
Swedish
French and Swedish,
French and Swedish,
and he loves like language learning process and everything, all of this stuff. So, and I think that for me, I consider the people, he is the polyglot if he loves language learning process, he loves learning foreign languages, he loves to discover new cultures, like beyond the borders. So I think that is the case, because I know that a lot of people, even in the Kazakhstan, who born as a bilingual, or he grown up as a bilingual persons, but there are less people like here. The bilinguals, they don't like language learning, they don't like learn like other languages. They can speak only like Kazakh and Russian, but they don't want to develop themselves, they don't want to but it's their choice, of course. But I mean that but we can't count them as a polyglots, or in Sweden or something like this, people who have grown speaking like 4 languages, but maybe they don't like language learning process.
Like sometimes people grow up in the bilingual atmospheres, like say someone from here whose parents are from Mexico, so they speak Spanish and English. But that doesn't mean they want to learn more languages. It just means that they learn those languages because they speak Spanish at home, and then English at school, or English at work, English with friends, maybe watch Spanish or English TV. So they have both, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're a polyglot or a language learner because they haven't tried to learn another one or another 2 or another 3,
They don't know how difficult is that, and they just not into languages, like they're not just into like language community, and that's all. So, and we are not judging them. We're just we are just like defining, like creating like we're trying to contribute to the like defining the definition of the word polyglot. Because I think this issue hasn't been so much like researched, by by people. Yeah, so because when we talk, and also like in YouTube, there are a lot of people who judge like people who like love learning languages. Like, you're not polyglot.
Right.
Yeah, you're not. You can't. You don't know these words. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
speak French. You don't know these words. So well,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
I wanted to make like video like about that type of person, but yeah.
You should. You should. Like
Yeah.
like a parody type video.
A parody type video, or even
Yeah.
I wanted to call myself like the Avenger of of language learners, like Avenger of language. I wanted to call that video like Avenger of language learners, like
Yeah.
trying to
Yeah.
defeat
You
them,
should.
because there are a lot of people who judge, like judge us or judge a lot of people who love learning languages, and they didn't even try to learn languages, or maybe
Right.
or maybe they tried, I think, and they had maybe kind of bad experience.
Bad experience. Yep.
Yeah, and negative emotions with the language learning process. That's why maybe they hate, because they are jealous of other people who speak like that languages. Yeah. So what do you think about this?
Yeah. I think, yeah, sometimes people have certain experiences. Like my younger brother, he basically, I was telling him to take language class for college or in high school. And then he was like, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. But here in the United States, you need to take like a certain amount of language in order to graduate, to get your bachelor's degree. And so it turns out he's finally at his last classes that he's taking is Spanish. So I've been helping him out with Spanish classes. And so that's like his final class to get his degree. So it's like, and I asked him why he didn't want to take it before. He said he had a bad experience with the teacher. So yeah, I think sometimes with traditional methods, people have bad experiences. And that's why I think, now with learning like comprehensible input and having all the different apps, they're trying to make it easier and more fun to learn new languages out there instead of just being in a classroom.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you. And I think that the like traditional system of learning languages just ruins a lot of good, like maybe amazing polyglots.
Yeah,
just because since their childhood, or they go into like primary schools, or like how to say that, like
yeah, we say grade school in the United States.
Grade school, yeah, like they go to grade school, and they, since the like initial like period, they have bad experience with language learning, because they're like grammar, you need to learn grammar, like
yeah.
So and the teachers like check them, they give them tests, they examine them, and they failed at the exams, and they just like they don't want to do that. They don't want to learn languages. For them, it's really like negative emotions. And even for me, English was negative emotions. Really, I had a lot of negative emotions, but I could overcame that. So, and also I wanted to say that I just lost my I lost my thought. We were talking about yeah, a lot of like this traditional language like system ruined a lot of like polyglots, and grammar is artificial thing.
Right.
Yeah, so we need.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, we need to take account that take account, like, and because the grammar is artificial thing, and we don't learn languages for our mother tongues by learning grammar or something like that. We just
right. Yeah, it's like when you're a little kid, your parents just talk to you. They don't like give you a grammar book and say, here, read this. So like a 2-year-old, they just talk to you normally, and you develop the language skills. So that's how we should do it as adults too. Just develop and not just look at a book, because sometimes the books are so boring and you start to fall asleep, and you're just like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the grammar books are, well, they can be good if you use in right ways. Yeah.
Right.
But it's not like, I think that when like who wants to start language, like who wants to start learn like new language, foreign language, I think they should try like methods like Assimil, Pimsleur, something like this, because they need to taste language at first.
Yeah.
They taste it. Yeah. They need to feel this language, and then like when you all, and then you can like study some grammar, even about the grammar that is artificial thing. For example, do you know in English, like I don't know how to like how forms like third conditional or like something like this.
Right. Yeah.
Or-
That's the thing.
like,
I tutor English sometimes, and sometimes
you tutor English. Okay.
someone asked me, they said, "Oh, how about phrasal verbs?" And I'm like, I don't know what phrasal verbs is. I just speak English, but I don't know about phrasal verbs. I have no idea what phrasal verbs is. So I had to look online. Phrasal verbs. It's like, oh my gosh,
Oh
dude.
my
So
gosh.
that's one of those things.
Yes, I'm talking about that. For example, even in my Kazakh or for I know like well in our school we did study like Kazakh grammar and Russian grammar, but I just forgot a lot of things. I don't know, like there are a lot of things like SMC, KOSMC, a lot of things like like I don't know, like really. But I speak that language. I speak it, and
Right.
you speak English. Yeah, so that's your native language. So we didn't study grammar. So I think it's a really crazy thing. Yeah. So about grammar.
Yeah, I remember in school with English, we did like verbs and predicate. I remember like an English class that would say, this is a verb, this is a noun, this is a predicate. But that was it. It wasn't like conditional or something like that. It wasn't like that. And then even when I was tutoring English to a Spanish speaker, he was asking me what I had trouble with. I said, oh, sometimes subjunctive. He's like, oh, I don't even know what subjunctive is, because they just use it, and they don't think, oh, this is what it is.
I had the same experience when I was in Astana. When I was in Astana, I think it was like 1 year since I had started learning Spanish, and there was one teacher, teacher like English teacher, but he's from Spain, Catalan, not Barcelona.
Oh, Catalonia. Okay, cool.
Catalan, yeah, Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, Barcelona.
His name
nice.
was like Joan, Joan.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so his name is Joan, and he was like English teacher. He is English teacher. Yeah, he teaches English, and but his native language is Spanish. And my sister worked in his company, and he just asked him to help me out with my with my Spanish, like give some classes, not classes, just speaking club.
Yeah.
And I went him, and we started talking, and I said like how to form like future, and he's like, I'm sorry man, I'm not like I didn't study Spanish, I don't know. For example, and he said in that time he made good analogy with my Kazakh language. He said like, you don't know in Kazakh language grammar, so like, and me too, like I don't know Spanish grammar, so we can just talk, but I can explain you subjunctive, like subjuntivo and otras cosas.
Subjuntivo, exactly.
Yeah, so and in that time I understood like, I realized like, oh man, like,
because if you think about it, if you were to go to like a first grader, somebody who's 5 or 6 years old, a little kid, and you say, okay, what's a whatever verb or adjective or whatever, they wouldn't know, but little kids know their language. They know the language of the mother tongue of their parents, but they wouldn't know, even someone who graduates high school may not even know all the intricacies of their language unless they studied it like in college, or they were a teacher, or like for us, for Americans, if we want to teach English as a second language, we have to get a certificate. So I think like the TESOL certificate, then they would probably teach those type of things, so we can teach foreigners.
And another thing that I don't like in traditional school system is that there are a lot of teachers whose like attitude is not so good. For example, when they teach, for example, if you pronounce something badly or say some word like incorrect way, they're like, no, it's not the way, like, don't say that. And after that you just don't want to speak, like, because you already have like fear of speaking.
And
when we are growing up, when we were growing up, our parents didn't say that. For example, when you try to say one word, like, they're like, yes, good, like this, they're like, good,
exactly,
okay, well done. Even if you mispronounce something, they're like, well done, like, already good. and you have like positive emotions with the language, and you
Yeah.
want to start and you want to speak like more and more to impress them, maybe. Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah. So that is it. And about the you said like you mentioned about the grammar books that they are boring. For example, today I had one student from Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah, and his age was 4. His age 4, and and I teach by like the presentations that are made by like company. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't use my materials or something like this. That I use their materials, and I use presentation. There was a topic about classroom, and this there are like constructions there are, and about all the things like for example pencil there is one pencil on the table, something like this, and the kid just got bored because he didn't want to talk about like pencil, rulers, or eraser or something like this, and I just like immediately changed the topic. I said, okay, do you have toys? And he's, yes, I have. Okay, how many toys are there? Like how many toys are there? And he's like, 1, 2, 3. Like there are 3. He's like, there are 3 toys. Okay, like and something like this. Yeah, I just like changed the topic, and he learned it. Like this.
That's good. That's smart.
So yeah, and this all of thing, and you know that some people say that you need to. Some teachers decide like words that you need to know in the language, and Steve Kaufman always like against that. He says like you don't need like all of the word or all words like from all spheres. Yeah, you just need words from your hobbies, from your interests. Yeah, in that subjects that you are interested in. Even we have you ever noticed that when one polyglot starts speaking in one language, they start with words like I speak this language, or I learn, for example, German for 1 month. I listen every day, I watch videos, and they talk about their hobby. They talk about language learning process in that language. So and
and you talk about things that you know, basically.
Yeah, you know, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, that's very true. Okay, great. So I think we need to like kind of, yeah. So I wanted to know about you more.
Okay.
So yeah. So you speak 3 languages.
Yes.
3 languages.
English, Spanish, Portuguese.
English, Spanish, Portuguese. And do you watch videos of Portuguese with Leo?
Portuguese with Leo. I've seen some of his videos. Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. He has a lot of good videos.
He's a cool guy.
Yeah, what was that?
He's cool guy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a polyglot as well. He knows like 6 languages too. Yeah, Portuguese with Leo. Yeah.
And, they recently they created good like a League Romana.
I've heard about that. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard about they created that with like the Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese.
Yeah. One guy from David from Italy.
Yeah.
David da Italia y Linguriosa de España.
From Spain.
Yeah. One chica de Francia.
From France. Yep. I've seen her videos too. Yeah.
Yeah. And they collaborated and they created Liga Romanica or Romance.
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And it's like wonderful. I started today. I watched the first episode. It's like 1 hour and a half, and they are talking to each other, and like French, Portuguese, Italian, and Spanish. And I learn every day like Italian and Spanish. I don't have problem. Yeah, I understand them more. I understand them like easily. With French and Portuguese, I had problems, but I could catch some words and the meaning. But it was an amazing experience. You know, like 4 languages in one video. You
one time.
Definitely watch that. Yeah, like if you have time, like
I'm gonna have to check it out.
I can send you like the link from that.
Yeah.
So okay. And what can you say about levels? What kind of levels do you have in each of your languages? Okay.
Yeah, I know you asked me about the levels. So I usually I've never taken any official tests. I think I probably took a test online a long time for Spanish, and I got like maybe B2, but this was maybe 10 years ago.
Wow.
So I would say maybe B2, high C1 for Spanish. Then for Portuguese, maybe B1, B2. But I think with those tests, you know, they are so strict with the grammar. You have to get every little thing right. Like when you did the Duolingo test for the Russian, you know, you got level 3, but you're fluent in Russian. So it doesn't mean that you're level 3 Russian compared to somebody else. You know, so I might be in like the B1, B2 range with Spanish and Portuguese. And then French, I would say A2, maybe B1. And then Polish and Russian, I would know like a couple words. Kazakh, I know a couple words. But I started learning Portuguese because of the World Cup in 2002. And I saw Brazil, you know, the guys from Brazil, it was a diverse team. They have people that are white, people that are black, people that are Asian. And I was thinking to myself, wow, if I go to Brazil, I can speak Portuguese and just pass the Brazilian. But the funny thing is, when I went to the bookstore to buy a Portuguese book or a course, they didn't have Brazilian Portuguese. They had European Portuguese.
Wow.
So
Portuguese
the funny thing is,
Portugal.
from Portugal. So when I first started learning Portuguese, I learned European Portuguese first, and then I learned Brazilian Portuguese second. So that's why I'm familiar with both variants of Portuguese.
Wow. And you as far as I know, that you also know a lot of accents, different accents from in Spanish.
Yeah. So basically, and I did a video about the Brazilian accent, the Angolan accent, and the Portuguese accent about Portuguese, and yeah, they're different, but they're cool. And in my book, I talk about an experience I had where a girl, she thought I was from Angola or from Portugal, and then she thought I was lying. I said, no, I'm from Chicago. She's like, no, you're not. You're from another country. I'm like, no, I'm not from Chicago. So it was a funny incident, actually, looking back on it.
You're not from USA, yeah. Like they
and I've gotten that a lot with Spanish and with Portuguese. With Spanish, people are like, oh, you're Dominican, you're Cuban, Colombian. Like, no, I'm American. And they're like, oh, but where are your parents from? I'm like, no, they're from the United States too. And so it's just funny when you get really good at a language, you know, people can say, oh, you're from here, you're from there.
And is your family like a monolingual? Yeah.
Yeah. So the people that speak other languages in my family, my aunt, she speaks Spanish. She learned it in school. So she knows, but when I was learning Spanish, she knew more than me, but now I know more than her. And then my younger brother, he's learning Spanish as well. My other brother, he's learning Spanish. So yeah.
Where did this passion come from? Like,
oh, to learn Spanish? Yeah, that's a good question. So when I was two things. One, I would visit my grandmother, and she lived like in this high-rise building in Chicago. And there would be so many foreigners that lived there. And so I would hear people speaking Hindi or Polish or Spanish. And I thought to myself, wow, that's cool. They speak different languages. I want to speak another language. This is what I was thinking to myself. Because Chicago, we have people that speak Greek, Polish, Russian, Spanish, Chinese.
How old you were?
This was when I was around 6 or 7. But before that, when I was around 3 or 4, my mom, she bought me these 2 books with cassettes from the company's called Barron's. One was in Spanish, one was in French, and one was blue, one was green. And so I put in the cassette, I listened to the language, I listened to both languages, and it made me want to start speaking both languages. Now, the thing about it is, as a little kid, French was tough because I don't know if you know about French, some of their letters are silent. So like they don't pronounce the S on some words, or the ENT they don't pronounce. It was weird. So I didn't want to do French as a little kid. So I just started going with Spanish. So every year I just kept on going with Spanish. So since then, from a little kid. But when I was 12 was when I said officially, you know what? I'm going to officially learn Spanish because there's a lot of people that speak Spanish in the United States, and I don't want to just be monolingual. So unofficially, when I was maybe 4 or 5, I started learning, you know, on and off. But officially, when I was 12, I said, you know what? I'm going to start learning. So it's been ever since then.
Yeah, wow, it's like it has been like 15 or 20 years of learning, like not learning, but
being around the language. Yeah, 20. Yeah, so 12,
wow.
30, 24, 34. So yeah, 23 years, almost
23 years.
More than half my life was Spanish officially.
Yeah. I think you were like, well, you already achieved like native level. Like
I'm pretty good. I mean, there's a couple things that I maybe mess up on, a couple small things, but not really.
But for example, if you have experience like living in like Spanish speaking countries. So
Right. So when I was in college, I studied abroad in Argentina. When I was in high school, we did 10 days in Spain. We went to a tour. And then when I was in college, we did spring break. We went to Mexico. So I've been to Spain, Mexico, Argentina. So and I use Spanish at those three locations too. And then here, just working here in the United States, there's so many people that speak Spanish, and you just talk to them. And then if they don't know English well, they'll talk to you in Spanish, and they don't have any problem talking to you in Spanish.
So okay, great, wonderful. And I want to know that what is your method? Like, what is your method of learning languages? But I think but I think that you and me have the same experience, like acquiring the second language. For example, I don't know how I learned Russian, and I think you don't know how you learned like Spanish. Yeah, like for example, if someone asks you like give me like resources from like A1 to C2, like how did you achieve, for example? And you're like,
no, yeah. So actually, my method. There's Latino people in my middle school. So middle school is like grade school, 1st through 5th, and 6th through 8th is middle school. So I would ask my classmates, I would say, hey, how long did it take you to learn English? They said, oh, 1 year. I said, how did you learn English? I said, oh, just watch TV. And so in the United States, most TV channels, we have Spanish TV, at least 2 channels, Univision and Telemundo. So I started out, I watched maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour, maybe one novela, maybe once a day. Yeah, one novela a day. And then when I was 12, my aunt, the one that speaks Spanish, she bought me another course, but it only taught present tense verbs. Everything was present tense. So I went through the course.
With conjugations, yeah.
Yeah, the conjugation was only present tense, but it was like a course, like it had different dialogues and stuff like "Buenos días, señor. Busco mis maletas," stuff like that.
Great. I think that like you started learning like from phrases, yeah, like.
Yeah, from phrases.
Like, yeah.
So what I did was, it was the summer when I was 12 years old. I bought flashcards, and on one end I wrote the English like to go, and then on the other end ir. I go, yo voy. You go, tú vas, so I would just sit there and I would look at it. And I have 20 cards and I would just like shuffle them. I made it like a game. Like, okay, what is to go? Ir. What is to buy? Comprar. What is to see? Ver. What is understand, comprender. So I would just do that for that summer. So I built up, I guess, confidence to know present tense. And so then I did present tense, and then I'd watch TV, and then it just kept on getting more and more and more throughout the years. I just started building up the confidence and learning. Yeah.
Great. So, and what year was it?
Let me see. Probably 98, 99, 1999.
98, 99. So you are one of the persons who started learning languages before the internet, like not before the internet, but before all of this stuff. Yeah, like without like cell phone. Yeah. Did you have?
Right. Yeah. No, I didn't have a cell phone. No, there were no apps. There was no apps. It was just courses. It was just you go to a store, you buy a course, and it has cassettes. You remember cassettes?
Tapes. Yeah, cassettes. I know. Like
yeah, tapes. You put it in the player. Like you press play and you listen.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how you learn. Just press play and you listen, and that's it.
Wow. I think you will be talking about this after like 20 or 10 years, like you said, I think. and kids who like nowadays kids, I think they won't understand you. Like they won't understand like even me. For example, I don't know like how to learn languages and how it was like. For example, when Steve Kaufman, Luca Lamparello, they say about these things for all your research, and you, I think. All of you like started learning languages before the internet, before all of these like language community. In that time there wasn't any language community like this. Yeah, it was weak. And about like input, comprehensible input, it wasn't taken like seriously by like by like traditional language learning systems. So wow, it's just wonderful. And the Portuguese, and how did you learn that? How did you learn this language?
So like I said, the same way. So when I was 17, that's when the 2002 World Cup was on with Brazil, and so, excuse me, I went to the bookstore, and there was a language section. They had Spanish, French, German, Portuguese, and also I wanted to learn 9 languages when I was a freshman in high school. I said I want to learn 1 language per year, but that didn't happen. But so I saw the Portuguese section, and I bought the book. Now we had CDs. This had 4 CDs for 5 hours.
Wow.
So what happened is I put the CD in. So now I already had 5 years of experience with Spanish. I started learning Spanish at 12. So I was 17. I had 5 years of experience with Spanish. So I put in the CD, I listened to it, and I fell in love. I'm like, wow, this is so awesome. I understood everything at the first time I listened to it. I'd never heard the language before, but I understood it, and I liked it because I felt like it was an easy way for me to learn a new language,
like a magic,
that.
Magic. Yeah. So wow. Yeah, it's wonderful. I think this thing happened to me when I started learning Italian. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah, in January 2020. Yeah, like when I first like heard like the like Italian, like I don't know,
the sounds.
Yeah, like sounds, and when I started listening to Italian like language, and when I watched first video, I was like, wow, I understood everything. So these attract, this really attract.
Yeah, because you already knew Spanish, that's why.
Yeah, that's why I've been learning Spanish for 2 years. In that time, it's like, wow, I understood. Like, so great. Now, so go.
So what got you on Italian then? Like I remember you talking about Spanish because you were taking English, and then they said you either have French, German, or Spanish.
Yeah.
You chose Spanish, but how did you want to learn Italian?
So well, the thing is, I don't know. Like I've never thought about that like in that way. But just I said you before that the Spanish language just opened my eyes, and after like learning Spanish, I started like really. I just fell in love with languages. I started learning languages. I started learning. I think I began feeling positive emotions with language learning process because of the Spanish. And after 2 years of learning Spanish, like I don't know exactly, but I just watched some videos in Italian and I understood it. And then like, oh, I want to learn Italian. It's really cool. Yeah. And in that time, I also wanted to learn Arabic. In that time, I also wanted to learn Arabic, but it didn't happen. I just postponed it, put it off till the 2025. 2025. Like when you learn like 2 languages, the same languages, like which are similar to each other, it's really hard. So that's why I always use this strategy. Like I learn Italian and German. They are different. So I don't have, for example, if I'm gonna learn like right now, if I learn Portuguese, I think it's going to be hard for me. But the thing is, I tried to listen to Portuguese and I don't know. I'm not into that. I don't like.
Not into it.
I'm not,
Maybe it depends on the dialect. Maybe you listen to the Brazilian one or the Portuguese one, and you didn't like one of them. You got to listen to the other one.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I have some passion to learn French but about Portuguese in the future. In 2030, I set that goal. But
what about Slavic languages or Turkic languages?
Slavic and Turkic. About this, I had like really good experience learning like similar languages. For example, Spanish and Italian. It was really amazing, and like it was really like bizarre experience, I think, for me. I don't know how it will be when I learn Turkish, for example, or maybe Uzbek or something related to mine. I don't know, or I think I'm gonna have more success when I learn Ukrainian or Czech.
Probably.
Because my Russian is like, for example, when I listen to Belarusians, Ukrainians, I understand more.
Wow.
I understand them. But when I listen to Uzbeks, people from Turkey, I don't understand. From Azerbaijan, no, I don't understand.
Kyrgyzstan, Kyrgyz.
Yeah, Kyrgyz, I can understand Kyrgyz because
Okay.
when I've been to Russia, there were also like Kyrgyz, like
Okay.
analytics from Kyrgyzstan, and we talked
Uh-huh.
in our like native languages, and I understood them because their language is, I think it's like how to say it, it's like Portuguese and Gallego or
Galician, yeah.
Galician or something,
Portuguese and Galician, yeah. It's like almost the same thing.
almost the same thing. Yeah, a little bit,
Yeah.
just a little bit
Yeah.
difference. Yeah, but you can understand them. Kyrgyz, I think their language is, and the Tatars, Bashkorts, Tatars and Bashkorts nations, they live in Russia. Their countries are under the Russia. Yeah, they're in the Russian Federation. They almost lost their languages.
Wow.
They can speak. Yeah, they can speak their languages. Like maybe 80% of the nation, like Tatars, Bashkorts, they can speak their native languages.
Wow.
So much immersed with the Russian, and they can't speak their languages. And there are a lot.
All right. Well, it's good meeting with you.
So,